Hello, this is Dr. Janet Hall and I'm a clinical psychologist here in Melbourne, Australia, working for over 32 years. I'm going to talk to you about fashion and the objectification sexually of young girls. And I'm very concerned about this topic, and that's why I'm making this video today. I have been very concerned about pornography. In fact, I used to think that pornography was okay between people who were adults in the privacy of their own space, but in the last 10 years there's been such a deterioration of how widespread pornography is and how much it depersonalizes women, and how many really creepy and disgusting things that they do portray, which give young men such a bad idea. But I'm also concerned in our everyday life with how young girls are basically presenting themselves socially. Just the other day I was stopped at traffic lights and we have trams in Melbourne, so there's a tram stop in the middle of the road, and I saw a mum and her two daughters come across and stand at the tram. And look, my eyes were basically riveted on the youngest girl, who could have been no more than 12 and a half. She had the same uniform on as her older sister, who was maybe about 14. And here's what it consisted with: a cropped off top, so bare skin there, and the shortest shorts that you never wanted to see. And then these young girls, you know, they've got long thin legs and kind of like work boots or good old Ugg boots underneath. So they're standing there at the tram stop. It wasn't a hot day. They must have been cold as anything, and they're out with their mother. Now, doesn't that mother worry about how men would see her young girls? She should be. As a sex therapist, I had a man who was coming to see me about how to spark up his more mature woman's sex drive. But he once had a rant about how he was on a tram and he was sitting down and the crowd started to come in on him, and he said, "Dr. Jan, I virtually had my nose in a young woman's navel. She had the crop top on, she had a little tiny mini skirt," and he said, how could anybody excuse me for salivating? You know, my nose in her navel and my eyes looking at, these beautiful budding breasts. And he said, don't these young girls know that they are eye candy? They're sexual fodder for the preying eyes of older men and certainly young men as well. And, what could I say back to that? And for you, the audience out there, the young girls who think that it's cool to look like that, and certainly to the mums and dads who probably buckle under to those young women and their demands to be cool and to be accepted and to compete with their peers and to go out looking like that it's really just perpetuating a really seriously negative side of our society. So, you don't have to cover up from neck to knee. I love to see a lovely young girl's legs, free and bare. But to be careful, and parents, coach your young girls in being young ladies, and for society, let's sort of pull the reins on exhibitionism. Let's stop thinking about the wrapping on the present and keep looking for the gift inside, because really that's what really counts. Boosting our young people's self-esteem, giving them a sense of dignity and grace, and making them feel good about themselves and how other people see them. So just remember that Dr. Jan has a lot of strong opinions, and if you have some kind of objections, just let me know. You can email me and I'll personally answer it, and that's at jan@drjanethall.com.au.